calculate to 4 significant figures the mass percent of nitrogen in ammonium nitrate. Well, it's pretty obvious. We're going to need to know the formula of ammonium nitrate. So the ammonium ion is something we've looked at already. It's NH4 plus. The nitrate ion is something that you should have learned at this point. I hope you're not waiting around for this. It's NO3 minus. So those two together, positive charge and negative charge, will give us the formula NH4NO3 for the compound ammonium nitrate. Now I'm going to tell you a little trick here, and this is a simple little trick. When you're calculating mass percents, it's sometimes useful to combine the different atoms. If an atom appears more than one time, to combine them. For example, there are 2 nitrogens here, so we could summarize this formula in like the empirical formula form, if you will. It's N2H4O3. Now the reason for doing that is whatever you need to calculate from this formula, it's you're less likely to make mistakes if you work from one where the nitrogens are together. Okay. Now at this point then we could calculate the we need the mass percent here, so we're going to assume 1 mole of this stuff, and we have to know how many grams and so forth here. So we're going to need to know the molar mass. So we have 2 nitrogens, 2 and 1 mole, we'd have 2 times 14.01 grams of nitrogen, so that would be what, 28.02 grams of N, plus 4 times 1.008 grams of hydrogen, so that's 4.032 grams of H, plus 3 times 16.00 grams for the oxygen, so that's 48 grams of O. And so if we add these all together, what I got was 80.05. Now this is either, well, this would be grams per mole, or if we used a single formula, then it would be in atomic mass units. Okay, now it asks us for the mass percent of nitrogen. The mass percent of nitrogen would be the number of grams of nitrogen in 100 grams of the compound, right? So, but to calculate that, we said we need to just take the gram of nitrogen over the grams of compound that contain that many grams of nitrogen, multiply by 100%. That's how we do the calculation. So this is 28.02 grams of nitrogen divided by 80.05 grams of N2H4O3 times 100%, and the answer is 35.00% N in ammonium nitrate. 35%. Does everybody follow okay? Do you have questions here? Okay, remember this term will be the mass fraction. The mass fraction times 100% will be the mass percent of nitrogen. Now you can do the same thing for hydrogen and oxygen by using this number and this number. And they turn out to be 5.037% hydrogen by mass and 59.96 grams of oxygen per mass. You can always get the last one by difference, if you will. Any questions here? Yes? Are you going to be able to use it, you mean? Yes, you will have the periodic table. You need to learn to use it. If you're wise at this point, you'll take that periodic table that I gave you and you'll work the homework with it. Because that same periodic table is going to be sitting in front of you, and it's all you're going to have beside your calculator and pencil and some paper when you do the midterm. Well, that's a good question. Thank you. Yes? Now we'll give you any conversion factors that aren't listed on the tables that that are on the periodic table. We'll give you any that you need. Okay, let's take this one step further. How many grams of nitrogen are present in 46.34 grams of ammonium nitrate? Okay, so we have mass of ammonium nitrate, and we want to go to mass of N contained. Now we could do it a long, arduous way, and we could do mass of ammonium nitrate to moles of ammonium nitrate to moles of nitrogen to mass of nitrogen, and then go through this that way. Or we could remember the 35% that we just did and do it somewhat more easily. So 46.34 grams of NH4NO3. 30% of that, 35% of that is nitrogen. So we're just going to multiply this by 35%. We want mass fraction, so we're going to divide by 100% here. Get rid of the percentage. And so that's multiplying by 0.35. And that gives us 16.22 grams of nitrogen contained. So if you're going to use ammonium nitrate for a fertilizer, and you need to know how much nitrogen you're putting on your yard, this is a way you could calculate what the total amount of nitrogen yield there is in ammonium nitrate.